We are live on Facebook and YouTube, and we would love you to be in on the chat and hang out with us. We're going to go through a bunch of topics, a bunch of questions, and I even want to talk about a slap and maybe a teaching opportunity that comes from it.
Okay.
And not the slap that I deserve for all the inappropriate things I say.
Don't tempt me.
Hey, we're going to get to this. We're going to give away some prizes, and we'd love you to hang out with us on the chat, get involved as much as possible. And we're going to do this with Luke and Susie in our Discourse Live. The Luke and Susie quotable in just moments, and it's talking about insanity.
It's Luke and Susie with Faith, Family, Culture. It's Luke and Susie with you. We're broadcasting from Greece.
What's the wise words of someone from yesteryear? So there's a question from Chris has got us exploring, going back over our career, our job life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting one because I don't think I can say yes to this, but other things popped into mind. It says, have you ever taken a job opportunity you didn't want to, but you did it because you needed the money? And then ended up enjoying it. And I think when I walked through, and I can understand that this might have happened for somebody, but I reckon I'm either self-fulfilling or I know myself well enough that I only don't want to do it because I genuinely won't like it.
Yeah, okay.
I've never been surprised. But I did start to think about the opportunities that have come my way that I've been paid for that were like unplanned, unexpected, and kind of in the end, like they were really cool. Like when I started business, I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing some training, and then someone called and said, "Hey, can you commentate an NBL game and fly to North Queensland and commentate an NBL game?" And I'm like, I didn't have it on my radar to commentate, national radio basketball game, but that was really cool. And then I had a politician who reached out to me and said, "Can you help me with my inaugural speech? I've just been voted into Parliament, and I need to make sure I communicate well." And
I forgot you did that.
Yeah. So these were things that were never on my radar, and I got paid to do them, but they were really cool. Like I never thought they were going to be bad. I always thought they were going to be kind of interesting. But have you ever taken a job that you thought, this is going to suck? And it didn't?
I think I took early on in our marriage, actually, just on the side, a job doing copywriting and voiceover work.
Yeah.
And not knowing if I would like it or not. And I ended up really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that having the ability to say something without me there to talk over the top of you could have been a good thing?
That's right. I didn't work with you when I did that.
You could get a word in. So I want to explore this. Has anyone had a job opportunity that you thought, but actually turned out to be really cool? Let's get your thoughts.
Emma, have you had this experience happen for you where you did something that you didn't think you would enjoy and then you did?
No.
Was that because you just knew what you weren't going to like, or because you don't take anything you think you're not going to like?
No, I've taken several jobs and not really enjoyed them. Yeah. But what I was thinking is, for example, I took one of my first jobs was as a receptionist in an eye clinic, and I really didn't like it. But I did that for a year, and part of what was really helpful for me in that is I didn't like being underqualified and treated like I really wasn't important. And that was enormous motivation to go to uni and do what I wanted to do and get qualified. So I got a lot of benefit out of it, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. So what did you want to do?
I ended up going and doing psychology. Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent. So you have taken a job opportunity that you didn't expect to like, and you were right. You didn't like it.
But I needed that experience, I think. And I see that with my kids now. They've got to have that experience. Otherwise, they imagine what a career is like, but they really have no idea.
Yeah. So I find with kids, and I remember this as a child too, not in jobs, but there were always things that I didn't want to do, but when I went and did them, I enjoyed them. Like at Girls Brigade for a while, I find a Tuesday I wouldn't feel like going, but when I went, I would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't know how many times I ended up enjoying stuff like that, but I go, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Right. It's probably about as good as it gets for me.
Yeah, all right.
But again, I don't know if that's self-fulfilling, like because I've determined it's going to suck, that it sucks.
Maybe. Mr. Hey, let's ask you. Have you ever taken a job opportunity that you didn't want to do, but you did it for an income and it ended up being good?
Yes, I was in performing arts, and so on the side would take waitressing work. And yeah, I wasn't super excited about it, but I ended up working for the Adelaide Town Hall in the functions, in that beautiful functions hall.
Yeah.
And we had a beautiful crew. We had so much fun. I ended up doing weddings most weekends for a couple of years, and I still look to it. It was 20 years ago. Still look to it as great memories, great team. We just were a well-slicked machine, and had some great laughs behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well,
awesome.
and that makes a whole lot of situations that might have been work that you don't like, but if the team is good and the camaraderie is good, it can make anything feel better, right?
Yes.
Yeah, not liking the work and liking the people generally means you like your job in a sense.
Yeah.
Judy, how about you? Have you ever done a job you didn't expect to like, but once you got in there, you quite enjoyed it?
Yes, I have. I was, I still do work for one of Australia's largest organisations, and I was doing a fairly average job. I'm just an average person, and I was asked if I would fill in the complaints department. So this is complaints from the general public and other high-profile places, and reluctantly I agreed to do that, and I've now been doing that consistently for about 12 years.
Wow.
And I just love it. Never expected that I would.
Wow.
So I worked out fairly early on that there are only 3 types of complaints, or 3 types of people that make complaints. There are people who have a genuine complaint, and then you do whatever you can to fix it. There are people who don't have a genuine complaint, so you do whatever you can to educate them. And then there are the loonies, and they are just such fun.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
So
I love that.
Maybe at some point I need to sit down and learn from you, Judy, because there was a point in my history where I got banned from responding to complaint emails when I decided to respond to a, "Who do you think you are?"
No, it doesn't work like that, look.
Someone hit my buttons, Judy.
Yeah. That's a brilliant answer.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Because who would anticipate that a complaints department would be work that you love?
No.
Like that would be one of those things where the anticipation of it, but I can understand that there's obviously great fulfillment from Judy to resolve and to close off, some of those situations, especially to help those with genuine scenarios or to educate those who are a bit ignorant and to obviously have a little bit of fun at the expense of
Excellent. I love it.
Hey, let's make sure that you stay in touch on the comments and on YouTube and in the Facebook group. It would be great to hear from you. Caroline's there tuning in. Hey, Caroline, and make sure you drop a message and say hi.
Like Caroline did, who was also in Girls Brigade, because all the cool girls were Caroline.
All the cool girls. And they would swoon over the boys in Boys Brigade. I want to get to the Will Smith and Chris Rock scenario soon, but not
I'm going to address that comment you just made about us just swooning over the boys in Boys Brigade. We'll get to that later, Luke.
Okay, all right. Okay. So there's a question that's come across our desk as one of the topics, and I just thought, what an interesting question. And then I started to think about it. I went, oh, it's like, do you have a favorite day of the week?
I'm so thrilled about your response to this question because I wrote it.
Did you?
Yeah, it's my question.
What? Okay. Because at first I thought it was ridiculous, but then I went, do I have a favorite day of the week? Is there a day I look forward to? I know that there's certain days of the week where I go, oh my gosh, it's that day again. But so tell me the premise of you asking this question.
Well, I realised with sort of another thing that I'm doing outside of the Luke and Susie show that I have 2 days of the week that I particularly look forward to, and they're not Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
It's Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's because of the people that I get to interact with on those days.
Got sort of planned gatherings, planned meetings and conversations with people that you like and respect.
Yes.
Hang on a second. Because every other day of the week you're with me.
Yeah, well, Thursday's a day. Thursday I'm with you.
Just saying, Tuesday and Thursday you spend time with people you respect, and then the rest of the time you're with your husband.
No. Did you come up with an answer? Do you have a favourite day of the week?
So definitely, I mean, the weekend is right up there. So Saturdays and Sundays for, the ability to choose and do whatever. Fridays I really like. Fridays my answer, because Fridays I try and have less things booked in and more freedom to do creative stuff.
Yeah.
And it's also my treat meal day.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the end of the week where I get to put everything, what I haven't got done, I just let it go. I have more creative strategy time rather than the daily grind. And I get to eat a treat meal and have whatever I want. And so what's not to love about Fridays? That sounds amazing to me. So Friday is my answer.
All right.
Do people normally have a favorite day of the week though?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
All right, let's go. Gnomes, do you have a favorite day of the week?
I'd probably go the same as Susie, and it would be if I've got something planned and it's with certain people and that sort of thing. At the moment, I'd have to say it's Wednesday for hydrotherapy, because I get out of the house, I get to go and talk to people and that sort of stuff. So it's just getting out and being with people and that sort of stuff. So if it's any particular friends that I want to see, it's special days like that.
Yeah, awesome. Emma, do you have a favorite day of the week?
Yeah, I love Saturdays. And I was just thinking, that's kind of our family day. So we try and play board games and have pancakes and do all of that sort of thing. But I was thinking during isolation and lockdowns, maybe every day felt a bit too the same. So that wasn't as fun. But now I can get out of the house. Saturdays are nice again.
Yeah, nice. So I reckon Saturday would come up quite a bit as a favourite day of the week.
Yeah.
Bev, how about you? You got a favourite day of the week?
So when I used to work, I always look forward to Friday. But now I'm not working. I look forward to every day.
Oh, that's lovely. Every day is
because every day I get the day with my husband, and every day we get to appreciate just how special each day is. Even if it's a bad day, and if it's a bad day, it's even more special.
Yeah, Suze, can I just highlight what Bev said about her husband? Every day is special because she gets to see him.
It's true. Bev's husband is good.
He is. He's
and would be lovely to spend time with. Yeah.
Miss Kay, do you have a favourite day of the week?
No, I feel like any day where I connect with a friend, that's a good day.
Yeah.
Whether it's by phone call or a cuppa in person, and cuddles from my kids. So that's almost every day.
Not a set day. Every day has the opportunity to be your favourite day.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just whether or not that day takes the opportunity you've presented to it.
Totally.
You make it sound like a threat she wakes up with, looks at the day and says, look, it could be my favourite day.
Or not. Judy, favourite day of the week. Do you have one?
No, I think you get to a certain point in life where you realise that every day has to be your favourite day. And if there's not something exciting happening, well, you just create it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
That's actually a good way to live, isn't it? That every day is a great day.
Yeah. Producer Sammy, we're going to put you on the spot here. Do you have a favourite day of the week?
Absolutely. It's going to have to be today when I get to see both of your beautiful faces.
That's what helps make Thursday mine.
1, 2, I think that's the third. So the first 2 times Semi had an opportunity to answer a question like that, she failed miserably. But she's because you kept forgetting to say how amazing it is just to work with us.
He's very needy.
You've learnt the lesson and you've answered well. I could just say that you had the opportunity to fail again, but you didn't. You finally cottoned on. Luke is needy. Tell him everything he needs to hear.
That's okay. I wasn't referring to Cozy at all.
No, it's not me. It's the dog. All right, I'll take whatever love I can get. Hey, Suze, you were going to pull me up on the girls swooning over the boys' brigades.
Yeah, I thought that was a rather sexist comment to make. We did a lot of things. We did camping, we did gymnastics, we did life skills.
Okay.
It wasn't about the boys and boys' brigade.
But I didn't say it was about the boys. And I was speaking specifically of you and your girls at Girls Brigade swooning over one boys' brigader in particular who is still an active part of your life. This is a historical fact
I
of
didn't
stories.
swoon over him.
But was there not a group of girls swooning
And actually, I
over
did date a
said
boys
boy?
brigadier for a while.
Right.
Now we come to think of it.
Right.
Okay.
So what part of what I said was wrong?
The swooning part. The swooning part was wrong.
It was not. I distinctly remember stories about him driving his mum's van and being like God's gift. Is that not true?
It could fit a lot of people. It was very handy for going to the movies and things.
So I'm just saying, my stories were not named, but my comment was from premise of things that you have yourself told me.
Let's move on to our next question, shall we?
Yes. Let's do it. A question. This I find a very difficult one to answer, although there probably was a point in my life where I would have found it very easy. Debbie's asked, do you prefer salmon or tuna? Or like me, do you think they both belong only in cat food? So I used to think they only belonged in cat food. But then I kind of have acquired the taste for tuna. I'm okay with it. I'm like not a huge raving fan, but I'm quite comfortable eating little tin tuna.
Yeah.
And the first time I ever had salmon was on the Orient Express free train ride I had between London and Bath. And I got served smoked salmon and caviar. And I don't know whether it tasted any good, but the memory of it was like it was amazing because it was free. And it was a guy and a waiter. I had a knife so shiny I could use it as a mirror, and it was caviar and smoked salmon. So everything felt amazing.
The experience of it sounds brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. So I think I'm kind of okay with either, but I don't have a preference. The smoked salmon and caviar I'd have again, just to say I had it again. But
tuna is cat food. But salmon, if it's cooked really well, I don't mind salmon. The main time I remember having it and liking salmon was a fundraising event that we went to. I think we might have emceed it together, and it was an alternate serving, and I got the salmon, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I do like the passion in which you said tuna is cat food.
There was no passion; it's just a fact.
Yeah,
it's just I'm not a fan.
Producer Semi, tuna, salmon. Do you have a preference, or are they cat food?
Well, funny enough, growing up, I hated tuna. Like every time my grandmother would come up with a tuna salad or a tuna sandwich, I would loathe the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, same. Taste buds have changed. Now I love it. Still prefer salmon though.
Involuntary smells of tuna can be a bit overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
As in when someone else is
like
having
if
it
you
in
haven't
the
chosen
office.
it, they brought it in the office. We had one where they would bring it in and then they sat underneath an air conditioning vent and it got
emanate,
into the vent and then it would go through every room because it was a ducted aircon. And so every room smelled like tuna then. That was a bit rough.
See, you guys have the privilege of having flavored tuna. See, I don't remember that in South Africa. It was just plain tuna.
Just the fish.
Chili tuna for me is actually pretty good. I'm down for that. I like it. Yeah. Bit of spice to go with it. It's great.
Let's get thoughts from you, Alison. Do you prefer salmon or tuna, or do you think they both belong on cat food?
Asking me the question. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry, here I am. Sorry. I prefer salmon.
Salmon and Thank you for such a recovery, by the way. That was sharp. That was we particularly love the whisper. They're asking you.
I know. I quickly ran out the room, so yeah.
Does that mean you don't like tuna?
No, not really. I'm not a big fan. I do prefer salmon. If I had a choice of eating tuna or nothing, I would eat it. But yeah, no, I prefer salmon.
You have to get to nothing.
I'd go nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you a funny story though. Our old cat, he would never eat his tuna like tins. No, big cat. Hey, wasn't into tuna.
Our dog likes seafood.
Yeah, he is a big raving seafood
really
fan.
into it. Yeah.
Bev, tuna or salmon or cat food?
I like both, actually. I used to like only tuna, but when I was before my hip replacement, I was told I had to eat red salmon, and I was like, oh, yuck, yuck, yuck. But when I ate it, I realised it was all meat. It was actually really nice, so I actually really like both now.
That's good. I just need to double check, Bev. You're not a cat, right?
I wouldn't give it to the cat though, because I don't own a cat number one, and I wouldn't give it anyway.
I don't have one. That would just be weird stalking your neighbour's cat.
It would be just to
Yeah.
give them tuna.
Come have the tuna.
Gnomes, are you a fish eater? Do you prefer salmon or tuna, or do you think they're
I don't like salmon, and up until about 10 years ago, I wouldn't eat tuna. It wasn't until my ex-mother-in-law made tuna mornay when I had my wisdom teeth out that I actually started eating tuna.
Right.
And now I like it, and I make my own tuna dish and love it.
Do you only like it in that kind of mornay, or would you have just tuna? Yeah.
No, I can't eat it by itself. And when I give my cat tuna, I half the time gag because I can't stand the smell of it.
Is it a cheese sauce? Is Mornay? I'm just trying to look it up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I just make plain tuna.
You don't like salmon?
No, I can't stand salmon.
Okay. Anti-salmon, but Mornay tuna.
Yeah, I make my own. Like, it's just cheese, pasta, mayonnaise, and now I add barbecue sauce with it. So
Yeah. Oh,
it's
okay.
really good.
Interesting. So, Emma, do you have a cat?
I do not have a cat, no.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're not feeding any tuna or salmon to the cat. Do you like salmon? Do you like tuna, or is it cat food as far as you're concerned?
Look, the question I have, I think, is are we talking fresh or tinned? Because this is a really different
Whatever
scenario.
you want. Okay, so
fresh tuna and salmon are, you'd think they were totally different. I mean, I love them both fresh. Tinned, we eat it because it's good for you, and we tolerate it, but I don't love it, if you know what I mean. I think getting fresh salmon and tuna isn't always that affordable, so we eat a lot of tinned fish, but gosh, if I could get it fresh, I'd have either right now, thanks.
Yeah, okay.
Now Caroline has brought up something very important on the chat. So first of all, she said, I don't eat any seafood. I don't like anything that looks back at me. And I think that's it's a fair premise. I'm okay with that. So a lot of people don't like eating the pig where you can still have the head attached, looking back, or but you know, fish I can understand looking at the eyeballs. I've eaten a fish eyeball before. I think it was okay. It was for a dare. But this is the bit that got me about Caroline. She said, like ham in a can with the jelly. I cried when I was a kid thinking mum was feeding me cat food. But ham in a can, so in other words, spam, is a blight on humanity, and nobody should be eating that stuff.
When I was growing up, we used to put it through the grater that we had, which was you'd put it in this machine and then turn the handle and it would grate, and we would put it on pizza, spam, with the pineapple, the cheese, the tomato sauce. It was yum.
Killing my soul.
Every bit of it. You loved every bit of that description.
The only thing about spam that I appreciate is Weird Al Yankovic's song, Spam, which brings great memories. It's a wonderful, funny song, but I'm not going to eat tinned ham. That is the most feral, disgusting thing. Something that goes off so quickly but can last a lifetime in a tin. That is not real food. There is something nuclear about that stuff. And it is not, because it's used in, I think what I dislike about it is that's meat. That's not meat. That's plastic.
You're really having a very strong reaction, I can tell.
Spam. Oh, Susie. Ugh.
It's like one of those memes that you see. Like, imagine spending nearly 20 years married to someone and then finding out they used to eat spam.
On pizza with pineapple. There are so many things wrong with that picture.
Money was tight. We did what we could.
Okay. All right. I can understand that. Caroline has asked, bubble tea, is it worth the hype? It's okay. I totally already know the answer. Yes. I don't even know what bubble tea is. What is bubble tea? Producer Sammy is just exacerbated in the background. Why is bubble tea a thing that you are so offended on behalf of?
Well, I'm just shocked that you're always teasing me how I don't know famous people, but you don't know bubble tea.
What's bubble tea? Is it just tea with bubbles?
They're not bubbles. They're jelly balls, and it is amazing.
They're jelly balls?
Yes. How have you not had it? There's like shops popping up everywhere. It's like the new fad.
Never even seen it.
Oh my goodness. There's a shop called Moo, there's Couch, there's Gongcha, there's so many places that make bubble tea. How have you see? And you say I live under a rock.
Yeah, no, you do. Well, you do.
Okay, I
That's
do.
not a question.
Different rock.
Different rock. My
Clearly
rock
not the
has
same
bubble
rock.
tea.
So, do you know bubble tea?
Yeah, I've heard of bubble tea, but I have not tried bubble tea.
Right.
Our eldest son is really, really keen to give it a go, but I'm always nervous with something new because we end up spending money on it and then they don't like it, so that we've spent money on something that doesn't end up being eaten or drunk. So we haven't tried it yet.
So bubble tea has balls of jelly in it?
Yep, and you get different flavors. So it's basically like the most generic plain would be like an English breakfast tea, but it's cold. It's got lots of milk, and then it's got like little pearls, I think they're called, but they're like little jelly balls, and you can get different flavors. So you can get like lychee flavors or peach, and then you can also have like a peach tea with the peach balls.
Okay, Caroline's on the chat right now, who I think has asked the question.
Oh, chat time. See, she knows it.
Chat time. Bubble tea is the best. Tapioca pearls or popping pearls? That doesn't even make sense as a sentence to me. None of that.
They're flavors of the jelly balls that you can get in the tea. And it just enhances it because you have a thick straw, and then while you're drinking the tea, you get all this extra stuff.
Fruit tea or milk tea? I have heaps of it at home. Okay.
Okay, this is outside of it. Have you heard of bubble tea, Judy?
Yes, I heard about that earlier today, but I think the clue is in the name, bubble tea. So, like all bubbles, they will just burst and it will disappear.
I love it. That's a very articulate and very intelligent
very
jibe
good.
in the direction of bubble tea. I couldn't have ripped it down any better myself. Hey, let's go, Emma. Have you had or heard of bubble tea?
Yeah, we used to live with a Filipino girl when we lived overseas long ago, and she was all into it because I think it's probably from that kind of area. So I could be speaking wrongly there, but I think as we're becoming more multicultural, we're getting more and more options here, and it's fun. It's fun.
You've had it?
Yeah, I like it. I don't have it all the time, but it's, I don't know, texture in your drink. If you're happy to have texture in your drink, then it's good.
That's the bit that's put me off.
Yeah,
is having these little balls come up the straw. I don't know that I'd enjoy that.
Usually, if there's something that's chunky and floating in your tea, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, I can see why you got a problem with that. But if you just rethink it, if you think of it as dessert, like a tapioca pudding, and then you can probably deal with it better. It's like thinking that carob is chocolate or soy milk is milk. It's you got to think of it as a different food group, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful.
Somebody,
actually,
I don't have a name attached to this, but somebody on Facebook says, "I think bubble tea is gross."
Okay, not a fan.
Clearly not.
Not a fan. Miss Kay, have you tried bubble tea?
Yes, and it was a long time ago because from memory, I think we had a bubble tea craze back in the 90s here in Adelaide, and I didn't go for the texture in a drink. It's if you think of like passion fruit little seed things, just like drinking with that coming into your mouth, it kind of disturbs your drinking experience. To me, anyway.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep. All right.
I don't think I'll like it.
So they're jelly balls, or are they all different types of balls? Semi, is it like different types of floating things?
No, so they're all made out of that jelly kind of texture. If you've ever had aloe vera water, you'll have floating pieces of aloe vera. It's a similar texture.
Aloe vera water?
Have you not had that either? Obviously, I'm
just making stuff up.
No. I will go to the Asian market and I will bring you a whole lot of things to try.
Oh,
yes. No. But I've had oak soft drink. I'm just
like you say that, but
things.
I don't know that there's too much Asian food that I've tried that I haven't liked. So maybe I just need to give it a go.
Yeah.
Well, see, I love aloe vera water because it's also supposed to be really good for you. And then the aloe vera, it's just like a jelly thing. It can kind of squish between your tongue and the top of your palate. Same with the jelly balls. And that's why, I know they're called pearls, but if you can wrap your head around, it's but a little ball of jelly,
Yeah.
and it's got different flavors.
I can deal with jelly and I can deal with tea, but she's asking me to get to travel a long way mentally.
We're going
to combine the
somewhere
two
on
of them.
Saturday night that is near a place that's got bubble tea. Maybe you should try it.
Are we?
Just give it one go. Yeah.
Well, think of it like
Okay.
how Emma said. It's like a dessert.
Yeah. So if I don't know about food and drinks that you have to get your head around.
if you have to get your head around it, probably don't have it.
It became a craze for a reason. Lots of people like it.
It's true.
Fair
It's
call.
true. And they
Fair
do have
call.
so many flavors. I've seen them. Yeah, yeah. All right. Maybe I just need to be a bit braver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Suze, I want to just take a few minutes right now to talk about the Chris Rock Will Smith thing, and it's been a talking point for days and days and days, and the conversation keeps evolving. And I think one of the things that we would often do as a family, especially when our children or any one of us have made a bit of a bad choice, we sit down and we go, okay, what could we have done differently? Because you can't change the situation. But you can learn from it. Or when somebody else has done something that was, something become a talking point. Well, what are the options so that if we ever present ourselves in a similar situation, let's be prepared for the choices that we can make. And I was thinking about this to go, okay, there's a debate over the appropriateness of the joke and what we tolerate from comedians and insulting statements and her disease and with Jada Pinkett Smith and the alopecia. And then there's the physical violence. And of course we condemn the choice of physical violence as a response. But then, so what could he have done and yet still done something to say that was inappropriate how you spoke about my wife? If he still wanted to make a stand but do it differently. And I thought it's interesting to explore what are the options that we say he should have done instead. Are we willing to kind of open that up as a conversation to explore the possibilities?
I am. Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Do you have any thoughts particularly about what he could have done instead or should have done?
So I think the end goal, the good thing, you and I were talking about this the other day, the good thing coming out of it is people are talking about alopecia and getting a bit more aware of what it is and how it impacts people. And hopefully we'll see that bullying and that kind of the mental health impact of alopecia is something that we might start to see diminish in the long term as a result.
And the fact it's a joke doesn't, because actually a big part of the way you bully through alopecia is ridicule.
Right.
So it's actually the joke is the bullying action of what those with alopecia get because their hair's falling out.
Yeah. So if the point is to draw attention to what Chris Rock said so that it could then become a conversation for the future, bear with me.
Yeah.
But I say go right back to kindergarten, stand up, hands on hips, poke your tongue out. Get the camera on you and then get people saying, why is he doing this weird thing? That's my thoughts.
Well, I mean, to take it to a slightly more serious space, I like Caroline on Facebook because she said he could have just stood up and said no and then addressed it further backstage. But I liked, because for me, I go, because I think it's right that he made a public stance. I think I'm happy for there to have been an interruption to the routine, an interruption to be a jolt, to go, I'm not going to stand by while you mock my wife through her disease. I'm going to draw a line in the sand and say that's not okay. And I'm happy for him to do that. And Caroline's saying, you don't have to say more than no. I've made my point. Her facial expression has said enough. We're not going to tolerate that. And it would be enough to jolt, to create an awkward moment and have no one be violent or offended or escalated. Correct. And talk about it. So I think that's a really good, what could he have done? And I'm not sure how many thoughts or opinions we've got as to what some of the options are, but let's explore and see if we can get a couple of thoughts on this.
All right. Judy, do you have any wisdom on this? Do you think there's something else that could have been done that would have had a different consequence?
Yes, we could have all turned our TVs off and not even watched it. But because we put these people up on pedestals and then we get all upset when they do the wrong thing. So I think that would be a starting point. But physical violence or any violence of any sort is never the answer to anything. But we also have to take into consideration that he's reacted to something that's happened. Have we not all been guilty of that, reacting to something and then realising that we should have done it differently? Same with the other guy. He probably thought that he was very funny, but didn't really think about it. So I'm not prepared to cast judgment either way.
No,
I would
no, and
turn the TV off.
he was trying to do his job. He was trying to be funny, and it backfired. It didn't work out. But like, he was not attempting to be a bad person. He was just attempting to do. That doesn't mean it's a justification, but grace to all circumstances. I like that approach because it's certainly the heart that I approach the conversation with. I think one of the things that I said to you that stood out to me as to why I think this joke in particular stood out above others that are offensive, but I haven't been offended by, is sometimes people do bad things and they draw attention to themselves and become a butt of the comedian's jokes. But she hadn't done a bad thing. She hadn't drawn attention to herself. She had been unwell. And so she didn't deserve to have the attention on her for that. She hadn't asked for it. She hadn't put herself in a situation for it, but she was ridiculed for it. So I think that's why it stood out as a bigger deal to me than maybe other jokes have. Let's get one more thought and see if we can get Emma. Do you have any thoughts of what in that moment could he have done differently? If you were talking to your family and your kids about it, what would you say are the options of how you could handle that differently?
Yeah, I think there's a good point to process it with the kids because obviously he did what we would tell our kids not to do, which is react first, think later. And in a situation like that, I don't know, I can't say I'd do any better, really. It obviously came out of left field. Not that that's an excuse, but as Judy says, I can't really judge that. But as far as processing it with our kids, a line does need to be drawn in the sand as far as what's okay and what isn't. And I think just a moment of thought first, even a stony face and a reaction on social media later or leaving the room would probably have put them in the strength position rather than really bring it down to the gutter, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that this is a point that you made, Suze, is that in the end, we're talking mostly about the inappropriateness of Will Smith's behaviour because of how he acted, when if he had done it differently, we could have been talking how inappropriate the joke was by itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's actually taken the attention off the first thing because of how he chose to react, which is detrimental to the outcome that Will Smith would have wanted had he had a chance to do it again.
Yeah, and like Judy said as well, it was a reaction, which means it wasn't well thought out at the time. We can't judge because we have all reacted to things before. But it's what can we learn from it, I guess, is the
and the reason why it's
question.
important to me is that I spent so much of my life being quiet when I think someone needed to have a voice. When someone made a racist joke or someone made a sexist joke or someone said something as a quip and I was too often just silent and let it go through to the keeper because it was too hard. And what I've learned in later life is that when you don't at least make it awkward for someone to be offensive by standing up to it in the moment, then it never changes. And so I'm passionate to teach my children, you stand up for what's right, but that doesn't mean you have to get into a fight. But even if you make it just a little more uncomfortable for them to do it again, they think twice before they do it or say it a second time. And that's a good thing. And that's where you get to use your voice and stand up to create an environment where everybody's safe to be involved in the conversation.
Yeah.
So wonderful contribution. Thank you to everybody who's willing to share and keep chatting about it if you've got some things to message through. We've still got a couple of topics to go before we... Do we want to give away some prizes? Can we do that now?
Yeah, please.
Let's give away some free stuff.
Yes, please.
Let's play Getting to Know You. Suze, you've got all the questions. I've lost my pen.
I've got it. I've got one.
You've got one, but that's your pen, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but you can borrow it.
Thank you very much. You're lovely. It's good that we're married because you have to share. What's yours is mine.
Yeah.
Let's get to know Emma. And Emma, Susie... I've never seen such a horrified, petrified look on someone's face at the thought of getting free stuff. That was interesting.
Just don't have got the answers for you, Luke.
The answers are all about you. They're just about you. They're just going to ask you some questions about you.
You already know
can't
the
get
answers.
It wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
And even if you don't know the answer, you can say that that's your answer. And who do we argue? It's you.
We don't know.
So we're going to do this, getting to know you, and we're going to see. Let's see how much we have in common, Suze.
Okay, let's go.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
All right, Emma, we're going to dig deep into the heart, into the soul of the life of Emma. Actually, no, we've got 5 superficial questions.
Really 5 easy questions and 30 seconds to answer them all. And at the end, we'll see what we've learned about you. Are you ready to go?
Okay.
Your time starts now.
Shower or bath?
Ooh.
Or shower most days, bath on special occasions.
Book or movie?
Movies quicker.
Yeah. Board games or card games?
Board games.
Country or city?
City.
And cheese platter or fruit platter?
Yes.
All right, let's explore these. So shower or bath, and you were very practical. Shower.
Nice
You
days,
sound like a
yeah.
person who wants to who's got to get in, get the job done, and busy and lots of stuff on. So shower, it's quicker.
That's right. Yeah. But when I want to rest and then it's bath time, go away, kids. Leave me alone. Yeah.
So which flows on to the book versus movie. It's movies quicker.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm not a really fast reader, although I'm currently doing research, so I have to read a lot, but I don't have time to read for pleasure. So show me the movie. That'd be good. Yep.
Right. Yep. Okay. Because I'm with you so far. We're on par.
Board games, card games?
All right. And you said board games.
I love games. Board games, I guess, have a little more depth to them, but card games are good for, a quick game.
So yeah, it's quicker.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that you're living the life of a busy working mum, Emma. That sounds to me what's going on. Yeah, I went card games because with the kids at the stage we had, the board games are all fun and amazing, but the games they like to play are never easy to set up or pack up. There's stuff. There is stuff. Whereas cards are just like, it's just a deck and you play the cards and then you put them back in the box. And I just, for that.
Yes. Yeah, we've got teenagers now, so it's with the more complicated games are a bit more interesting. Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to that. Okay, country or city? City's quicker.
So why city over country?
Oh, I like to be where the action is.
Yeah. That shocks me, Emma. I think we've got to know you very quickly. This has been a quick study.
And cheese platter or fruit platter for you, Luke?
Well, I was going, I'm torn. And by the time, I was starting the process, you went, yes. And I went, that answer.
Must we choose? Yeah.
Yeah. But so if you had to choose and you went, you can only have a fruit or a cheese platter.
Cheese.
Okay. I'd probably go fruit because it's a bit more guilt-free. This is good for me. It's good for me. But I like a good array of fruit.
If you've got to choose between a fruit platter or a cheese platter, guilt is not part of that equation.
100%. Yeah.
Well, Emma, congratulations. You've won $50 to spend. Our program sponsor, Graced by Me. Buying a gift can be stressful because you want something that communicates a great message to the person that you are giving to, but you don't have all the time and money in the world. Our program sponsor, gracedbyme.com, you get to choose the perfect gift, like the coffee bean gift or the retro 80s mug or handcrafted journals, just to name a few. And then you get to hand select affirmation cards to communicate the person's value and honor their character. To feel great about the gift that you buy for someone special and to add value to their day, shop at gracefyme.com. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. So, Suze, let's get into the next question.
Okay. So this is a question Chris has asked. We had a question recently which was, should you do marriage counselling if you're married? Full stop. Regardless of how your marriage is going. It's kind of along this line again because Chris has asked, have you ever successfully completed an IKEA flat pack first go without hesitation? And would you support this as an activity for pre-marriage counselling?
Well, I've got an answer to the last.
Can I just immediately go to Beth on this? Not an IKEA flat pack fan.
So we had pre-marriage counselling. Yes and no. I wouldn't. What I'm going to say is, be sure the people that are there see you for who you are and don't have an actual view of you that's not you. We had marriage counselling that was horrendous. So so it's wisdom, but it can also ruin your marriage at the beginning before you get married, which kind of set us up to fail a little bit. So it would be a yes or a no. I'll probably say no. Don't do it.
Based on personal
talk to trusted friends. I talk to trusted friends that know you.
The trigger that is triggered. But Chris is talking about using IKEA flat pack into marriage counselling. think tongue in cheek because I'm the initiator of great. So, have you and your husband ever put a flat pack together with girls or something?
No.
No. Well, because Suze, you and I have tried to flat pack together.
I've tried to flat pack without because I really quite like putting together the flat packs.
Yeah,
and
you enjoy the challenge.
I do enjoy the challenge. And the answer to the first part is, have I ever successfully completed an IKEA flat pack first go? Yes, I have. It was a set of drawers that still stands in the boys' bedroom.
Yeah.
Would I support it as an activity for pre-marriage counselling? No.
No, we got to a point where it's against the rules of our house that we flat pack together.
Yeah.
It has to be flat pack separate. And because we couldn't deal with it. We couldn't deal with each other in the flat packing process.
We have really different methods for approaching a flat pack.
Yeah. I have the method of trying to not leave any leftover parts. It doesn't mean I always achieve it, but no, we do. And look, I go, okay, this is, if you're happier, because you seem to be happier taking on the challenge. If you were happier if I did it and you walked away, then I'd be fine. But you seem much happier for me just to let you sort it out.
Yeah, and I'll ask for help if I need it.
And I can't watch while you're doing it because I can't help but to comment or have a facial expression or a physical movement.
That's right.
So I have to walk away.
Yeah. So
and be nowhere near the vicinity of you while you're doing it.
The healthiest thing for us in our marriage is flat packing separately.
Yeah. And which is actually transferred onto producer Semi, because producer Semi, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there have been things in our office, flat packs that we had to put together that you started to open up the box and I walked out and left you by yourself to do it.
Oh, I noticed.
And it was a trigger. Like, this is what, like, if someone starts flat packing, you leave. Like, you don't participate. You don't get involved. You just walk away.
Which is hard because it was like all of these really big pieces and my arms weren't long enough.
Yeah, and I didn't realize till afterwards that wasn't just I was busy. That was a psychological trigger.
I actually ended up coming to call you. I'm like, hey, could you help hold this?
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Like, I just need one more arm to kind of like pack things. Yeah.
But and look, usually the greatest joy in my life though is when Susie is beaten by the flat pack and has to call me in. Like, there's great.
Because I didn't tell that part of the story. Because have I ever successfully completed an IKEA flat pack first go? Yes, once. But I've put about 12 together.
I wasn't going to highlight that. No, I think you are just as capable. Like, I'm not a handyman, so I can't evaluate your capability. It's just every now and then one of us needs to call on the help of the other against our otherwise judgment.
Have you ever had to call on a more grown-up?
Not for a flat pack, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
No, I have had help. We had visitors over for dinner one time and I was struggling with a bunk bed.
Oh, bunk bed, yes.
So they spent most of their time putting our bunk beds together.
Yes.
Yeah. But I also had to call the electrician to help me change a light bulb.
Yeah. See, sometimes we just need a more adult.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. We've chosen someone, and let's go Gnome. Gnome, do you think that flat packing is something that is good to be done with multiple people, or is it a solo?
It depends on the person. I've been able to do it myself when they're small items. My ex-husband, he got very frustrated, and usually threw items across the room. But before IKEA was in Canberra, we didn't get IKEA items, but I was able to get stuff, and I was able to build bookcases and cupboards and that sort of stuff. So I was able to do it myself, but they were only small shelving units and that sort of stuff. I don't know if I could do big, huge, tall ones. But yeah, it also depends on if you and your partner work together really well to be able to do things together. If you can do it together and you have a strong bond, then you should be able to manage putting things together.
That's right.
Should be able
if
to.
you can't work together in everyday life, then you're not going to be able to manage putting a flat pack together, because that is the epitome of struggling.
It's the ultimate. I mean, we started parenting saying we're never going to use the television as a babysitter. We're not going to use food as a bribe. And we gave in on those standards pretty quickly as well.
Miss Kay, how do you feel about IKEA flat packs? Have you ever done one successfully on your own?
I've done a mini version, yes. And that I felt fully accomplished that I did it on my own.
You do.
And I do remember doing one with my ex, and I feel like it was a struggle from memory. And although once we got it together, I mean, there was a bit of argy-bargy, just tension, let's call it. But I think once it's done, I think I've still got the cupboard actually. It's like, oh, well, we've done it now.
It's an accomplishment.
Suze, you and I have both had the experience where we've flat packed successfully by ourselves, and then in a much too short a period of time, it started to fall apart. So we had the emotion of thinking, we've nailed this. Look at us, chest puffed out, and then very quickly turned into, maybe it didn't.
We forgot this screw. This screw. Where does this go?
Yeah. I hate, because sometimes they give you extra parts, and I hate that. I hate it because every part of me thinks, is this extra parts or did I just miss something? It makes you second guess yourself all the way through.
That's why you count them to start with, so you know there's extra parts.
But even then, even when I do it, so let's not argue about our process.
Okay, all right.
Let's leave our flat packing process to private.
All right. Well, let's just come to our last question for the day then, shall we?
Yeah.
Craig's asked it. Is it a myth that redheads have a more fiery temper?
Producer Sammy. Ironically, we're going to start this conversation with you as your hair glows in the light of this question. Is it a myth that redheads have a more fiery temper? Keep calm. What do you think?
Is this a question for me or those around me?
Yeah. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, Sammy. Let's start with you.
Well, for me, I think I have a very normal reaction. How other people respond to my reactions does seem quite interesting.
Yeah.
So it depends if I've had my coffee or not. Am I hungry?
That's Susie too.
I've known you a while now, Samantha, and I think you at your fieriest is way less fiery than most people. So that speaks to the fact that maybe it's not a redhead thing.
Yeah,
I think you haven't seen me mad.
Yeah, I would say that Sammy strikes me as an old school kettle, and that we may not have seen the top pop, but I've maybe heard the kettle whistle a little bit.
Okay,
but you can see it's lovely, it's nice, it's warm, and then there's a little bit of a whistle before it really starts to, and I've seen it get frustrated, but it's all self-contained, it's all inside, but you can see it brewing internal. I haven't seen it come out yet, Sammy, but I've seen it start to build in pressure.
Look, it takes a lot. It does take a lot to really make me mad. It usually involves, attacking people who I love and who I'm very protective over. I feel like my fiery temper is activated through protection.
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, no, I'm happy. You can do you.
So there's plenty of redheads I've known who would carry the fiery redhead persona.
Yeah.
But is that because they're redhead, or is it because it's now a perception, it becomes like we interpret every redhead when they get angry as, oh, that's a fiery redhead?
And they're equally angry to every other person. But
the other people, because they don't have redhead, we don't say that we look for what the stereotype is, right? And I don't know whether, because I assume this was born out of a bit of an English-Scottish war history, the fiery redhead, but I don't know. Is it predating that? I don't know. Alison's got an interesting answer. She's the only temper I've seen from someone who has red hair was my driving instructor. He was a cranky man. Once rolled down his window while I was doing my driving lesson and yelled out at another driver, "Where did you get your license? A cornflake packet?"
Oh my. Okay.
That's definitely a fiery redhead, Sue. So it's a fiery personality, regardless.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in that lesson with Alison? That would be horrendous.
Let's try Judy on this one. Judy, do you think redheads have got a more fiery temper?
Oh, I don't really know because I'm not game enough to get that close to them. No, I've known a few redheads in my time, and yeah, they are.
Yeah. Okay, your experience is fiery redhead. It's just when someone like Judy comes out with a line like that, you don't know it's coming.
I love everything about Judy, honestly.
Yeah.
Gnomes, do you think redheads have a more fiery temper, or is it just perception?
It's a bit of both. My mum is a pure redhead, and I've dyed my hair red to match all my life, and all of her kids at one point have as well. But as Alison said, males tend to be actually more fiery than females. But unless our loved ones, as Sammy said, unless our family and friends are threatened, then watch out, the kettle pops and we go off our rocker.
Yeah.
So we can be, but then anybody can be in the right situation. So it doesn't matter what colour your hair are. And going on your Scottish and Irish, redheads in that time back then were actually considered of the devil, not of. They were considered not a good sign. They were not considered natural.
That's a bit mean.
Yeah.
No wonder they're angry. Emma, do you think it's a myth that redheads have a more fiery temper?
Look, I was just scanning the literature while you guys were talking, and I can't actually see any research or scientific evidence to back it. Sorry, that's just how I'm built.
I love it.
But every redhead, I was trying to think, all the redheads I know have actually been really gentle. I think it's very cultural.
I have redhead blood in me. My grandfather was a total redhead, and my mum adored, and so she misses her dad, and so she is so longed for her children to have red hair, and none of us did. And then it was her grandchildren. Every child was born. It's like, does he have red hair? Or she have red hair? It was desperate for it. But the closest she's been able to come to a redheaded, offspring is in my beard. I get a little bit of red ranger go around sort of the bottom of my chin. So I think that must count. I got a little bit of the fiery redhead around my mouth. That makes sense, right, Suze?
Yes, it does. We have a brother-in-law who's the redhead, and so our nieces have got red hair. So I do think they're a beautiful people, the redheads amongst us.
Beautiful people.
And I think they're a gentle family.
I think we've got to learn a way to talk about people with red hair without actually using language like those people.
Those redheads? No. I meant his family are a gentle people.
Susie, redheads have feelings too,
I did see that redheaded women are more represented in films than in actual life.
Oh.
So there are more famous redhead women.
There you go.
I would imagine it's a significant case of standing out. The visually looking different. It stands out more than a blonde or brunette, I would guess. So draw attention to it. Interesting. I don't know the premise of Craig's question because I don't think he is a redhead. So does he have a redhead in his life? He's trying to understand a little bit more. Hey, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We're just about time to wrap up, but do we want to get it to know you? Let's give some free stuff away because I'm intrigued by Judy, who has been entertaining us today. Judy, let's get to know you a little bit more. Susie's going to hit you with the hard-hitting questions, and I'm sure you're going to come back with some witty retort. So are you ready to play to win some free stuff?
As ready as I'll ever be, I guess.
As ready as I'll ever be. All right, Suze, we're going to get into getting to know you.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Okay, 5 questions for you, Judy. You got 30 seconds. You ready to go?
I am.
Starts now.
Would you rather travel into outer space or to the depths of the ocean?
The depths of the ocean.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Plans or surprises?
Plans.
Early morning or late night?
Both.
And sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
All right. Depths of the ocean or outer space? Why the depths of the ocean?
That's where you find all the best fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Same answer, same reason.
Very good.
And plus, I now have a desire to scuba dive since I hurt my ear and they told me I couldn't scuba dive. Now I just want to do it because
That's
I'm
all
rebellious.
you want to do. Yeah. Summer or winter?
I said summer.
Plans or surprises?
So you said plans. Tell me about is it a love of plans or is it a dislike of surprises?
I just like to be organised and know what I'm doing. I don't like people surprising me because that's when I say stupid things.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Early morning
I live that.
Early morning or late night? You said both, Judy.
Well, why waste the time? I mean, sleeping is just a necessity. So you've got to have some sleep, of course, but why not make the most of both ends of the day?
Oh,
Nice.
I like it.
Very
like
nice. And sweet or savoury? What did you say, Luke?
Sweet. What'd you go, Judy?
Savoury because when you were talking about that cheese platter, I was thinking maybe I could duck away and just create one.
Well, it's interesting.
No,
I chose
definitely savoury.
Yeah, yeah. I do like a bit of camembert though.
Oh, yeah, it is nice.
I do like, yeah. It's very nice. Well, congratulations, Judy. You've won $50 to spend at program sponsor Gracify Me. Buying a gift can be stressful because you want something that communicates a great message to the person that you're giving to, but you don't have all the time and the money in the world. So
at program sponsor gracifyme.com, you get to choose the perfect gift, like a coffee bean gift or a retro 80s mug or a handcrafted journal, just to name a few. And then you get to hand select affirmation cards to communicate their value and honour their character.
Yeah, to feel great about the gift that you buy for someone special and to add value to their day, shop at gracifyme.com. Well done, Judy.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, we are just about to wrap up. Thank you to everybody who's been involved in the show. It's been wonderful to have your input and insights and get to know a few new members of the Luke and Susie community. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And thank you, producer Sammy, for keeping your fiery redhead personality, sort of under control.
For now.
We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.